By day, these are ordinary coffee shops, but when night falls, they morph into hip trendy eateries popular with the cool crowd. One turns into a hidden gem of a yakitori bar, another transforms into a trendy little pizzeria, and the third shapeshifts into a cozy little bar bistro.
I've always liked the Tiong Bahru location, and when this particular spot came up, I thought it would be a good place to open a yakitori place, because we've been looking for a while to find a yakitori place. And it so happened that, you know, when we took over this space, I met the mee pok lady, and the community came up to us as well and said, hey, you know, we really love the mee pok stall here at Huabi, and we love the coffee shop. So I spoke to them and said, hey, you know, it'd be pretty cool if you guys could stay on. We didn't set out to kind of really have a kopitiam stall and a mee pok stall in front of the restaurant, but it worked out that way, yeah, because the residents came to us and said that's really what they value about the space, and we thought we could make both happen, you know. We could do our yakitori and have a mee pok stall for the local residents, and I think that's worked out quite well. I can see that, you know, the mee pok stall draws a very different demographic, and it was perhaps a demographic that we would not have been able to appeal to if we had just set up a yakitori on its own.
We get lots of cafes here, we get lots of bakeries here, but there's no real food per se. So after, you know, scouting around, I noticed that this particular coffee shop actually opens for half a day. So it took me quite a lot of effort to convince the owner to rent me for the other half of the day, because this concept was so new. It's basically rental efficiency, you know. I mean, like, it's not cheap to rent a space nowadays, especially in Singapore. So to be able to co-share the expenses of a space works out, you know, at the end of the day, because your overheads are better managed.
Coffee shop is always associated with the older people, so there ought to be a place where the young people also gather in a coffee shop setting. That started us thinking about how to do it in a new way of a coffee shop. And the idea of hawker bars comes about mainly because of retaining the nature, the characteristic of a hawker stores within the setting of coffee shop, and blend it with bar bistro. For the business, there's obviously advantages of doing so, because then you are able to optimize from just purely from a single store, single outlets. You're able to then optimize the business from day till night. The eating habits of a lunch crowd and the eating habits and demands of a dinner crowd are primarily different. So sometimes one kind of food doesn't get sold throughout the whole day. For instance, you have something as a breakfast, might not be something that you eat over for supper or dinner.
For the locals spotted at these dual concept restaurants, the idea is a refreshing one.
I think it's catering to all markets, because if you think about demographically, this place still has a lot of old little uncles and aunties walking around during the day. But then, yeah, on the other hand, you also have a lot of expats living around here.
Well, I think it's a good way to use the space. Instead of like totally converting it into a pizza, at least they keep, in the daytime it's like the old Tiong Bahru, and then the night time it's like a different concept altogether. Then I guess the owner of the place is also laughing his way to the bank, so he gets like twice the amount of rent. So I think that's a good way.
We have so many normal hawker food outside, serving normal rice and noodles, but this is really something different. And as a young person, I feel that, you know, definitely a lot of Singaporeans will accept this concept.
I think it's a good concept because firstly you don't waste the space, and then, you know, it brings people here, and then they find out about the coffee shop, then they can always come back again.
Stay tuned to our next clip, where we head down to Two-Face Pizzeria to check out just how well their Western food sits in a traditional coffee shop.